What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guy Cody here, and the Indianapolis Colts just finished their third day of OTAs, finishing week one. And just a reminder what OTAs are: voluntary sessions, although for the Colts, the attendance is pretty high. It seems like this is something. So these are kind of essentially the first time that the Colts can practice 11 on 11. They aren't full pads, but it's kind of the first time post draft that the Colts can all practice together. So a little bit about that. Today, Thursday, was the first day that the media could actually be out there. So there were some things that kind of the Colts hadn't come out and said that the media, got to see, got to witness. Some guys who maybe weren't out there, some minor injuries, some updates on some guys who were dealing with injuries, surgeries they got in the offseason, things like that. So just wanted to let you guys know a little bit of that. Before we kind of get into some of the things that happened on the field, I want to talk about a few guys who were not at practice, were not practicing today for Indianapolis. Josh Downs dealing with a knee injury. Michael Pittman, personal. He actually is going to become a dad for the second time. He's having his second child. So congratulations to the Pittman family. That's awesome. Good for them. Really excited for them. Jonathan Taylor still dealing with that ankle injury, that recovery time from that surgery he had earlier in the offseason. So he wasn't out there. The Colts held him out. Isaiah Rodgers, Shaquille Leonard. That's the one I think that bears monitoring the most. Shane Steichen said he really doesn't have an update on Leonard, and we just don't really know what in the world is going to happen with that. So that's just something that bears monitoring there, that back injury for Shaq Leonard. Braden Smith dealing with a leg injury, although Shane Steichen kind of seemed like it wasn't a big deal. He said it was pretty minor. Rashad Berry was not out there. Tight end Jelani Woods dealing with a hamstring injury. Tight end Drew Ogletree, obviously the knee, that major injury he suffered last year in training camp. Will Mallory was not out there. Juju Brent with the wrist, and Alec Pierce was off to the side during the team period as well. So, with that being said, this is kind of how the offense looked for Indianapolis on Thursday. Gardner Minshew was the starter. He started out with the first team. It was Gardner Minshew, Zach Moss, Mo Alley Cox, Ashton Doolin, Mike Strawn, Isaiah McKenzie, Bernard Ryman, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Blake Freeland, the fourth round pick this year, filled in at right tackle for Braden Smith today. Defense was Kwity Paye, Samson Ebukam, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, Tony Brown, Kenny Moore, Dallas Flowers, Julian Blackman, and Rodney Thomas. So those were kind of the players that were out there. Obviously, a lot of players that will be big contributors were not out there on Thursday. So in regards, first off, to the quarterback situation, right? Even though Gardner Minshew was the guy that started immediately, each of them were able to get, time with the starters, right? And Shane Steichen said that right now they're splitting time. That's kind of how it is. And so it kind of started off with Minshew was first out there on a 4-play period, and then Richardson followed him, and then Richardson, ended the practice with the 4-play period with the starters. So actually, even though Minshew started, Anthony Richardson was able to get more reps with the starters, which is interesting. So that's kind of been the plan, has been to split those up with both these guys. And, we already know with Richardson, you didn't know if he was going to be the starter right away. And the Colts are kind of letting to see right now, how ready is he? And they're giving him, as much as he wants right now, without completely giving him over the reins right away. So Shane Steichen had been talking about that. He said, you got a really talented guy that comes in. You want to see more where he is at. So let's go get him early, get him going early in the process to see where he's at so far. He said, right now, when you get those reps over and over and over again, you become a better football player, especially after learning the new system, seeing the different modes from the defense. That lots of stuff that's going to get thrown at him, all that stuff. And with everybody else, we can just judge where he's at. And he also added that he's very pleased where Richardson's at mentally right now. He had some big plays that he made. Steichen said he made some great throws, great decisions. some really next level stuff is what Steichen added. So he said he's pretty pleased where he's at. Now, in total, Richardson was 5 of 6 in the team drills today. There was a really big highlight play that he had to Kylan Granson. It was like a 60-yard touchdown to Kylan Granson. He also had a really nice placement as well that was dropped as well. Not really worried about that, but was really impressed that, we're already starting to see, even through OTAs, Anthony Richardson is out there making plays, and he's making these highlight plays already. So I think that was definitely something that's really, really good. And obviously he had some issues. He kind of struggled a little bit from what I heard, going 7-on-7 against some of the starters, but he seems like he's growing. It seems like he's getting better. Wide receiver Ashton Dulin actually said that as well. He was really impressed with kind of how Richardson has come along and kind of where he's at right now. He's really impressed with him, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, Dulin added that he is really impressed by Anthony Richardson's arm. He said he's such a talented arm. He has some zip to it. He has a nice touch. He said it definitely pops out of his hand for sure. So Dulin's already noticing and really excited about that. So, and even some of the guys on defense noting, Samson Ebukam is noticing the dual threat and how dangerous that can be and how much he sees that in Anthony Richardson. So a lot of people really excited for where he's at. And it's great to hear from the main guy, Shane Steichen, that he's really pleased with where he's at mentally, because we already know, obviously, Steichen's history with these young quarterbacks and their development and stuff like that. So that's definitely really encouraging for sure. Yeah, one more thing about Anthony Richardson. Mo Alley-Cox talked to the media as well today, and he said that Richardson is a very mature player, and he's very excited to watch him work. He also added that he can already see the improvement from Richardson from Monday to now. And that's not just been something that Mo Alley-Cox has said. Like, multiple people have said that Richardson seems to be getting better with every single day. So, I mean, that's obviously really encouraging for sure. But that's exciting as well. And yeah, overall, it's going to be, I think it was a good 3 days here for Indianapolis. Shane Steichen added, during the teamwork, during OTAs, he said, when you practice against each other, that's how you get better, those full speed reps. He said, I'm pleased with the team is after the first week and many more to go. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Darius Rush had a really nice play today. He picked off Sam Ellinger on 7-on-7, and he had a pick 6. He returned it for a touchdown. So that was cool. Gardner Minshew, he was 3 for 3 in his teamwork. He had a really awesome connection with Isaiah McKenzie down the sideline. So definitely seems like people are just impressed by Minshew and kind of the way he runs things and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's always great. People really like that. And guys, that's a little bit of a recap in a nutshell about day number 3, the week 1 of OTAs for the Indianapolis Colts. Let me know your guys' thoughts on some of the things that we heard. We got some questions answered. I had a video come up before OTA started this week, some things that I wanted to see, some questions that I had, and it seemed like there's a few of them that got answered, a few of them that we're still going to have to see, obviously. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on the OTAs for the Indianapolis Colts. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.